This was an investigation of the designs and patterns that already exist in our environment around us, and we tend not to notice them or tend not to see them that way. I noticed that a lot of the patterns that I explored while I was walking around my neighborhood tended to be based on repetition, either through objects placed next to each other that looked repetitive and I found interesting, or linear repetition, or even concentric patterns that I wouldn't have noticed if I wasn't attempting to see patterns in my environment. I was also interested in capturing contrast between colors and different patterns. In the murals that surround me, as I was looking for most of my patterns in downtown Minneapolis, I found lots of opportunities to capture repetition in form, even contrast in materials, repetition in the industrial materials around me, sometimes contrast in materials like spray paint against the stone, or the repetition of color, the interesting different patterns that are eye-catching and create different textures, or just even what different textures were out there that were eye-catching and created a form of pattern. In this one, I particularly liked the concrete posts against the repetition of colors and forms against it in the background with the Black Lives Matter mural. This one was interesting to me because of the tag names and also the 3 blue bins against the 3 black bins. I started noticing a repetition of tag names in our neighborhood and how far out those tag names would reach in the neighborhood, which is always surprising to me. This window, almost all of them had a Black Lives Matter poster, which I thought was interesting, the way it just created this neat pattern in the window. I loved the symmetry with the 2 walls of concrete blocks and the concrete bags set up a level above them. And in this, I found it really interesting that different kinds of brickwork I would notice in the apartment buildings around us. It was interesting to think about how I could use this exercise that I was trying out with students walking around school, maybe looking for different patterns in design work, or even walking around the neighborhood in a school to look for specific patterns and designs.